Good morning, everyone. 6 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Friday, July 12th, 2019. Finally, Friday. 58 degrees outside. Shane and Tobin with me in Cantaloops. Half man, half amazing. And Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor. And welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And we're here every Monday through Friday, 6 to 9. So you don't have anything better to do. Just listen to us then.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we'd like you to think you have something better to do.
But you sacrifice that to listen to us, right?
Yeah. Well, we're back again to a shorter, what seems like a shorter week, but has not been. Just an amazing amount of stuff happening. So away we fare to the last day of the week.
Amen to that. All right, weather, slight chance of rain. Then we're going to have a chance of showers and thunderstorms after 4 o'clock today. Just kind of common for this time of year, increasing clouds. With a high near 86 today, chance of precipits about 30%. Then tonight, we're going to have a chance of rain and thunderstorms 1 a.m., about like we did last night. Then there's a chance of rain between 1 and 2 a.m. It's going to be cloudy in the early evening, and then it'll gradually clear out. And precip again is about 30%. But, boy, moving into the weekend, not good, Shane. Not good at all.
Yeah, you're back to normal. Well, you got to have rain for...
Yeah, back to normal with a high of 86 on Saturday. Afternoon thunderstorms, about a 50% chance of that happening. And same story on Sunday, 86 again, 55 the overnight low, thunderstorms. And then Monday, same story, 80 degrees and thunderstorms in the afternoon. So then Tuesday, 79, drops down a little, partly cloudy. Rain kind of diminishes there. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we've got pretty nice days of the week, 82, 86, and 82 next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So you're going to get nice rainfall all weekend long. So if you're planning on mowing, do it early because you'll probably be rained out in the late afternoon and early evening. So
and we now know you can do your mowing early.
Yes, you can. Yep. That's the story.
Wake the neighbors up to the...
That's right.
Wake the neighbors up to the rainstorm and instead of letting them sleep in.
Yeah, I think somebody, when we were talking about how early do you start mowing or something like that.
Yeah.
that was a weird poll because I didn't make it specific. I should have said how early in the day because people said February. Start mowing in February. And no, that's a little too early. No, we can't do that. So. But it looks like we got some decent weather going along. Our poll question of the day is no-brainer. Which is better, capitalism, socialism, or communism? And the reason we put that poll up is that I think we have a certain number of people who are more embracing away or want to move away from capitalism and into socialism and maybe even communism. So I thought we might get a feel for our listeners out there as to who likes which form of society to be under. So we'll be keeping track of that poll. Yesterday's poll, we asked best French fries, and McDonald's and Best Burger tied with 19%. Five Guys, Wendy's, and Arby's tied for second place with 9% of the vote. And then Aleworks was in third place with 7%, and Burger King and Mark's In-N-Out tied for fourth place with 4% of the vote, and then Dairy Queen and another guest, the Bay Bar and Grill. Not really fast food, I don't think, of the Bay Bar and Grill, but anyway, we included it anyway. So Dairy Queen and Bay Bar Grill tied for last place with 2.5%. So there you are. So that was yesterday's poll. And today's poll, what's better, capitalism, socialism, or communism? So vote at KMMSAM.com or on your smartphone at AM 1450 KMMS on your app. So there we go. And I said it already. Said it already. Oh, man.
I wouldn't worry about it. Really.
I gotta worry about it. I gotta break these habits. I gotta break these bad habits I've developed.
Bad habits.
All right. This day in history, 100 BC. That was a long time ago.
It was indeed.
Yeah. Julius Caesar was born in Rome. We know when Caesar was born, but we don't know when George Washington Carver was born. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Remarkably, that's a good point. That's a very good one. Well, they don't know exactly the date. It could have been the 12th. Could have been a long labor.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we don't know what day it was. Yeah. So anyway,
he died in March 15th, as we know, the Ides of March,
Ides of March,
44 BC, which is sort of interesting. Rome was, basically discovered or created in 753 BC. So a lot of people think that, or sometimes think that somehow Julius Caesar was very close to the birth of Christ, but not in fact was not.
Yeah.
I mean, he left his nephew the empire, Augustus, but it took him another 22 years to conquer the breakup and reunite the Roman Empire. But we all know how brilliant this guy was. He did a lot for the country: roads, sewage, infrastructure, adequate water to the city of Rome, which at the time was the largest city in the world. I mean, it had a population of over 2 million people, and similar to the population today. So he'll be remembered for a lot of things, and he's going to go down in history. I know I won't. So, there you go.
Well, from that long ago.
Yeah.
2,000 years ago plus we're still talking about the guy.
Exactly.
Actually, I have a coin, an original coin commemorating that day that was made right after Julius Caesar was killed.
Well, excellent. You're a coin collector.
Yeah, it's got the date right on it, 31544 BC. That's how I know it's real.
There you go.
Yeah. Think anybody will get that?
No.
Okay. 1543, England's King Henry VIII married his sixth and last wife, Catherine Parr. I guess maybe she didn't get beheaded. I don't know, but anyway.
The amazing thing about all these women is they didn't have much success with any of them having children. That's what's so amazing.
Yeah, well, it's probably a good thing because he was not a nice guy, apparently.
No, that's right.
Probably a good thing. It's like Saddam Hussein, and his couple psychopathic wackos that he produced. Jeez.
Wow. Kids, ooh. Craziness.
Yeah. Well, in 1690, Protestant forces led by William of Orange defeated the Roman Catholic army of James II at the Battle of Boyne in Ireland. And boy, if they'd had Julius Caesar, they probably would have won.
Could have been true. But the importance of this and the fact that William the Orange won, it gave Ireland its sense of order within the United Kingdom at the time. And, the battle took place, of course, on the River Boyne, which is why it was named that. And the battle took place on the 1st of July, 1690, but William's forces defeated James' army and all became right with the world. The interesting aspect of this is that, the Orange Order was created in 1791. And they've commemorated parades since then around the Commonwealth, not just in Ireland.
All right. Wow.
So you have the Orange Day Parade. Yes.
Yeah. 1862, on this date, Congress authorized the Medal of Honor for folks in battle in foreign country.
Incredible. And it crosses all of the areas of your military. 3,505 distinct recipients, posthumous, awarded 624. Last awarded June 25th, 2019. I watched it.
Yeah.
President Trump awarded it to someone very close to everybody there in Montana. I believe that was June. Yeah, it was June.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the United States Navy, which was established December 21st, 1861, the Army, July 12th, 1862, and the United States Air Force, April 14th, 1965. And it's well rewarded. It's a great story. Great. Go anywhere on the internet and read about it. And the stories of these young men.
Mm-hmm.
It's just incredible.
Pretty amazing, yeah. Well, in 1895, Broadway lyricist Oscar Hammerstein II was born in New York City. Rodgers and Hammerstein, of course, the Broadway duo. A lot of great musicals they produced. And
that's right. And he first worked with a fellow by the name of Jerome Kern, and who wrote Showboat and a couple of other that weren't successful. But with Rodgers, they were huge. Oklahoma, Carousel, South Pacific, The King and I, my favorite, and The Sound of Music, most everyone else's. But died at that's right. Died at 1960 at only 65.
Wow,
amazing. Isn't it?
All right. We got to take care of the ranchers, farmers, cab drivers, and truck drivers, and all those people that bring you booze, food, and clothing. And we got the Headwater Livestock Report and a little bit about MSU athletics. We'll be right back with more after this. 22 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Friday, July 12th, 2019. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Report. Morning Soapbox Morning Report. Where did it come from? Well, we are reporting, I guess, somewhat. With Tom and Shane. You can tell it's Friday, huh?
Indeed, that's right.
How long is it till 9 o'clock,
yeah.
Anyway? On this date in 1908, comedian Milton Berle was born Mendel Berlinger in New York City. So
amazing guy. You know, the class of these people in entertainment in the beginning of the 20th century was vaudeville, right? I mean, that's what they came up to.
Yeah,
they survived in vaudeville, and then along came radio, and then radio made a lot of them famous.
It did,
because talkie movies weren't around yet, and so they couldn't do really anything there. And then then the talkie did come along, and then of course television, and he was one of the greats on the Texaco Star Theater.
Yep,
and he was a major guy. They called him Uncle Millie or Uncle Milty or Mr. Television. And during the first golden age of television, famous for his cigars. Remember, Uncle Milt always had a cigar.
Yes, he did.
And not many movies.
Nope, he didn't make a lot of them, but
lots of television and a lot of stand-up.
Yep.
A lot of stand-up.
Yeah. Let's go to the phones. 522 Talk is the number. 522-8255. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, good morning. Just your poll question. Obviously, I am for capitalism, but I just want to tell a little story about when I was in, it was Yugoslavia at the time, early 70s, and it was a communist country at that time. And I remember sitting around talking to some students in a little coffee house, and they all talked with their hands over their mouths. And it was because they were being watched at all times. And I said, "Oh, what do you mean?" Because I was real naive to the whole communism thing. And they said, "Well, if you don't agree with anything that the government's doing or whatever, you'll just disappear." And for the folks that want communism, I encourage them to go to a communist country and see how it is before they decide that they want it, because I don't think it's taught in schools or anything how evil it really is. And they blow it, whatever up your whatever, telling you, oh, you're going to get all this free stuff. Government's going to take care of you. Everything is going to be good, and everybody's going to be equal. We're all going to have the same stuff, and we're not going to have these evil rich people and all this. So anyway, and like in China right now, they're constantly surveilling you, and you get points. And based on your points is whether you can get a loan, or so if you're a good little communist, you are okay. But otherwise, to heck with you.
Yeah, we reported on that several weeks ago, I think, the point system there in China that, they give you points, and, you're right. You may or may not get a loan. You may or may not get a home. You may or not get a job, insurance, whatever. So.
Yeah, I mean, it goes down to, like, jaywalking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'd like to encourage our millennial snowflakes out there that it's not all it's cracked up to be. Get yourself an education that you can actually use, or maybe even go into the trades, which I am. I'm a carpenter.
Yeah.
I see very few young people that they may try to get a job for the summer while in between, but they really don't want to go into the trades.
Right.
Which is an honorable profession. I love what I do.
Yeah. We wouldn't have houses without you.
Exactly.
There you go. Well, we'd all be in tents on some street in Los Angeles.
I'm not quite as old as you guys, but I am 69 years old, and I'm working at least 45 hours a week in construction.
Well, good for you.
So, anyway, I got to keep building the houses. They won't let me retire.
Well, there you are. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the call.
You.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right, thanks for listening. We appreciate it. All right, yeah, there's a lot to be said for the trades,
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
that liberal arts degree isn't going to take you very far at the bank.
That's right. It's the trades built the country. Everything that we walk into every day, a house, a business, a store, all tradesmen, baby.
There you go. 1972, I said it again. I can't believe it. That's two. 1972, George McGovern won the Democratic presidential nomination at the party's convention in Miami Beach. And George McGovern, probably the closest thing to Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders that we have today.
That's exactly right.
Off the rails, liberal, and I think one or two states. I don't know. It was not good.
And it was a sad thing because there was so much desire for Robert Kennedy to be the nominee in '68 against Nixon, and of course assassination of that.
Yeah.
McGovern did try to run for president in '68, but he of course lost to Robert Kennedy. So he did continue in '72. The sad thing there's two things about this is sad. One, they had the convention in Chicago and remember the riots and what.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that was sad about this was that, he picked, when he, excuse me, I'm trying to think here. When he got the nomination, it was such a raucous. On Thursday night, he didn't give his acceptance speech till I think it was 9 o'clock out east yes, it was, or 11, no, it was 11 o'clock. So anyway, he picked his vice president. Apparently had some mental problems, so he had to be replaced by a Kennedy, and still lost to Nixon.
There. All right, we got to pay some bills. We got to get out of here. We got Montana State News, Fox News, Brook Foster Weather, Culligan Water, Southwest Help, One of Montana, and oh my gosh, all kinds of stuff. We'll be right back. 23 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Friday, July 12th, 2019, 57 degrees outside. We're looking for a high of 86 degrees today. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Happy to have you along with us. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about this day in history. And in 2001, Abner Luima, I guess, a Haitian immigrant, tortured in a New York City police station. Pretty bad, as I remember. They did a lot of really nasty things to this guy. But anyway, for his trouble, he agreed to an $8.7 million settlement from New York City. Thank you very much. So he's doing well these days, I guess, if he's still around.
Of course. And again, remember this comment here, settlement. Yeah. 8.7. This is what's going on in Chicago, as we've talked about, and with all these civil right cases being, brought against the police department. So the reason I bring it up is they're heading towards $600 million in settlements. Never went to trial. Settled out of court. $600 million in the last 15 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Now you know what's going on in Chicago. No one's being prosecuted.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, in 2006, Hezbollah guerrillas kidnapped 2 Israeli soldiers and killed 8 others in a cross-border raid. Israel sent a sent ground troops into Lebanon in response. So,
they always answer. Lebanon, I mean, Israel knows that their back's against the wall, literally.
Yep.
So, their response is always stronger than the attack, and rightfully so. Been that since day one, right?
Yeah. Well, in 2010, Roman Polanski was declared a free man, no longer confined to house arrest in his Alpine villa after Swiss authorities rejected a U.S. request for the Oscar-winning director's extradition because of a 32-year-old sex conviction and underage, as I believe. And
that's correct. Yeah.
And what happened at his house?
I don't know, but the conviction was a statutory rape conviction in 1978. That's all I know.
Okay, Sharon Tate.
Oh, yes, I know. Yeah.
Sharon Tate and the Manson murders at Roman Polanski's house. He was out of town at the time. What a shame he wasn't there.
Yes, and yeah. Oh, wow. Terrible situation.
Yes, it was.
Yes,
well, birthdays on today's date. George Washington Carver, as I said, they think he was born on this date. Died in 1943. Great American. Julius Caesar, we already mentioned. Henry David Thoreau was born on this date. American essayist and poet and philosopher, born on this date. George Eastman, Eastman Kodak, born on this date as well. Buckminster Fuller, American engineer and architect. Oscar Hammerstein, we also mentioned, born on this date. So big day for at the birthing of great Americans today, Shane.
That's right. Yeah. Lots of people we all know about.
There you go. We got to take another break. We'll be right back with local news. We had a incident in MSU yesterday, threat by a student.
Oh, yeah, I saw
lockdown at MSU. So we'll be back to talk about that right after this. 18 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Friday, July 12th, 2019. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And yesterday, an MSU employee arrested after threatening the campus. Guy was about to be fired, Shane. So that's...
Yeah, it's a serious situation.
Yeah, you and I will freak when we're kicked out of here, so...
Oh, yeah, of course I will. Yeah. Really, it's going to overwhelm me.
That's right. Okay. Well, police confirmed the guy owned a couple shotguns and a rifle, but they didn't find guns with him, and his name's not been released yet. He was arrested about 2 p.m. after he was threatening to end it all and take as many people with him as he could. And so Frank Parrish, the MSU police chief, said the man was a MSU staffer who was about to be fired. He was not a professor, and they said the police received a tip that the suspect made threats and was ready to end it all and do whatever.
That's right. So from shortly after noon to 2:15, it was a shelter-in-place order on the state campus. So
there was.
Everybody stay in their safe space and do not come out.
That's right. Get your cookies, your puppies, your coloring books, and just stay put.
That's right.
Well, we've got a nice mural going on the Montana Angler Fly Shop downtown Bozeman. Artist and civil engineer Julie Sinclair is creating the piece, and if you want to go by and watch her paint it, she's there between 5 and 7 p.m. downtown. The mural depicts a vividly colored brown trout hopping out of a lake. The fish dominates the wall with mountains, starry sky, and water filling the background. The wall is about 75 feet long and 20 feet high, so the owner of the shop and guide business, Brian McGeehan, commissioned Sinclair to create the piece, and it was just a big white wall, and we thought, boy, we really need to have a mural there, so that's what's going on downtown. So if you're down there between 5 and 7, you can watch this mural being painted. Quite a deal there, 75 feet long and 20 feet high, so it should be quite a piece of art.
All I can say is I hope after the controversy that's happening with the murals of Washington.
Oh yeah.
It's a beautiful brown trout that is just, breaking the surface on its own. Yeah. And there's not a fly in its mouth with a fishing line.
So that PETA won't come down and
because if there's a fly in its mouth with a hook with fishing line, PETA will come down and demand it be painted over.
Yeah. Well, should be interesting. So anyway, that's at the. It's at the. Where is it there? The. Find it in a minute.
The fly shop.
Yeah, the fly shop downtown. Montana Angler Fly Shop. There it is. I knew it was in there. It was in there somewhere. So yeah, that's a great deal. So hopefully it's another attraction that people will enjoy here if they're visiting our fair city, and check it out. Well, a not guilty plea for the driver who planned to level the federal building. As you know, the other day somebody drove, it was William David Hutton, 54, charged with destruction of government property and attempted destruction of government property. He appeared in federal court before U.S. Magistrate Jeremiah Lynch in Missoula. So if convicted, he could face up to 10 years in jail, $250,000 fine. And at 4:41 Monday, Hutton drove his car into the west entrance of the federal building, and he jumped out and said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. And but apparently, looking into his background and whatever, they decided that he didn't he
weren't any concern.
Yeah. Well, the officer told the agent after hitting the door, Hutton turned off the car, grabbed his backpack, raised his hand, and said, I'm sorry, it just got away from me. But a Bozeman detective and 2 agents from the Protection Service retrieved a gun and ammo from the glove box. So I think he had other ideas in mind. So good for him that he is off the streets and taken care of. So. Now, the big question, of course, is he a Trump supporter?
Of course.
Of course he is. I bet money he's a Trump supporter. Come on. Who else would crash into a federal building other than a Trump supporter, I'm sure. So we'll see. I don't know if his politics will be revealed or not, but
no,
that's where we always go, you know.
I don't want to bring up the name, but I just wanted to mention to these people that are announcing and running campaigns and doing selfies, you know, like there was one yesterday as well. Try and work a selfie where you actually get your face in the picture.
Okay.
That's all. So yesterday the guy's picture, half the bottom of his face was not showing. And today's picture, half the guy's forehead is not showing. So try to at least.
Who's he taking a picture of?
Himself.
Oh, and who is this?
A guy running for U.S. Senate.
Oh, okay. So he's putting selfies up on what, Facebook or someplace?
No. He's on the Chronicle page here, and it's like, really, can't you get someone to take a picture of you? Like. It's bizarre. The only reason I'm mentioning it, it's like the 3rd or 4th picture that was in the newspaper, or at least on their website, and they're not even full facial pictures of the person running for office.
I think that's a website issue, not a Chronicle issue.
Well, if it's a website issue, it's anyways.
Well, it is. Yeah, it is. I would almost bet it is, because I'm pretty sure. As bad as the Chronicle may be, I'm sure they're not putting up half pictures of people.
Well, okay, all right. I just find it comical, that's all.
All right. Well, MSU, they got 5 finalists for their research VP, the campus's most important jobs, leading to its $130 million research effort. All 5 finalists are from outside Bozeman, of course. They're even outside Montana, of course. We have nobody in Montana qualified to do anything. So all 5 finalists, as I mentioned, are out of Montana. They've been invited to the campus the week of July 22nd to the 26th for interviews. Each will attend a public forum where people can meet them, ask questions, and submit comments to the search committee. And so we got David Roskowski, who recently stepped down after 6 years at provost of the University of Vermont. Well, I guess we can guess his politics from Bernie country, can't we?
Yeah, from Vermont.
Mike McClendon, Vice President of Research and Graduate Studies, can't talk this morning. Portland State, Kevin Gardner, Vice Provost at the University of New Hampshire, and Jason Carter, Associate Vice President for Research at Michigan Technology University, and Anna D. Betancourt, Deas, the hyphenated last name, who served 4 years as Associate Vice President of Research at University of Nevada at Reno, visits also. So each public forum will be held 4 to 5 p.m. at the Chemistry and Biochemistry Buildings Auditorium, and will be followed by a reception until 5:45 in the lobby. So if you want to go down and meet any of these folks and see if they are the head of research at MSU, well, more power to you. Go down there and check them out.
And make sure you have a list of questions. Don't just ask one.
Yeah. Go down there and have a couple of them. I don't know. What do you ask a research person? What do you research?
Yeah, exactly.
What's your research priorities? I don't know.
Yep.
Anyway, well, Gallatin County has renewed discussions about replacing the 100-year-old Axtell Bridge and plans to seek public input on bridge design, possibly finding ways to preserve elements of the historic structure. The one-lane truss bridge located on Axel Annecy Road, south of Four Corners, is a safety hazard and a priority for replacement, and Tyler Stephan, a bridge engineer with the Montana Department of Transportation. If the bridge is not replaced, vehicles would likely have to take a detour of several miles to cross the Gallatin River. So the Transportation Department has 3 options for the replacement, which will take several years. The county hopes to get feedback at an open house in Gallatin Gateway this fall. So based on the feedback, the county commissioners and the department will decide what to do. Typically, we get a lot of strong opinions about keeping trusses in place, so public input is very important on the project. We have to figure out what are viable options and what the public thinks. So if you want to, we'll keep you apprised when that date comes up and the discussion starts. So if you want to preserve seems like, I don't know about bridge replacement. It seems like you might be able to prop the bridge up and then replace the part the cars drive on and keep the old part on top.
Oh, yes, but it's all about a code,
That's true.
Engineering code.
Yeah, you got to have
now
all
there's
that
a
stuff.
Federal code, and you have a state code, and a county code, and a city code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure.
My gosh.
All right. We got to take another quick break. We'll be right back right after this. We got to talk about Saks closing in Belgrade right after this. 4 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Friday, July 12th, 2019, 59 degrees. Looking for a high of 86 degrees today. And, some other things that are happening. After nearly 25 years, the Belgrade Saks shop is going to close. Actually, my wife ran that store for a while. Back in the day. She did. Yeah. And the Bozeman location on Mendenhall will stay open between July 10th and July 13th. Belgrade Saks will have a closing sale. Customers can fill a 10-gallon bag for $1. So get over there during those days, July 10th and July 13th. So that'll be tomorrow, obviously. So get over there and check that out. And it's kind of sad to see those types of stores close. They help the people that may not be making big bucks, and they can get clothes for the kids and things there. And so that's an unfortunate situation. But we still have goodwill, and we still have the Saks in Bozeman. So may have to come over here to get some things that you need, and so. That's
yes, and we don't want people to confuse this with Saks and Fifth Avenue.
well, there was a lawsuit about that.
Yeah, I know there was.
Yeah,
we
way
talked
back
about
when.
it years ago.
Yeah, way back
years
when.
ago we talked about it.
Yeah. Well, they call it Saks Thrift Avenue.
That's right. Yeah.
And Saks Fifth Avenue found out about it. It was in some article or something. So I guess they have people that search for that stuff. But this, I think this was actually before the internet even. I don't know when that lawsuit was. But anyway, they sent them a cease and desist order. So yeah, they couldn't call it Saks Thrift Avenue. So
there you go.
Too close. And they didn't take it to court. Of course, they didn't have the resources to fight Saks, so they just decided, well, okay, if you're going to be that petty about it, then who cares? So, well, at any rate, another thing I've got to do here, and I got to pop this open here if I can find it. Wrestlers having a 20th anniversary deal out at their place on Huffine Lane, if you know where Wrestler is out there. And Friday today, that would be 11 to 1 parking lot between Toyota and Chevy. It's an appreciation barbecue to the general public and the community. Free food for everyone, and everyone is welcome. They got hot dogs, chips, cookies and pie, and beverage, soda and juice. And they'd like to thank everyone for letting them be a part of the community. So Wrestler out on Huffine Lane, Wrestler Motors out there at Gooch Hill and Huffine. So get out there between 11 and 1, and you can have a nice barbecue lunch, and they'll provide the food and the chips and the dessert and the beverages and all of that. And a great big thank you to them. They've been a major sponsor of ours here for quite a number of years, so we have no problem sending people out there for some free food and drinks and whatever. So enjoy yourself out there at Wrestler. That'll be today, 11 to 1, parking lot between Toyota and Chevy. And it's an appreciation barbecue to the general public and to thank them for what they do. So, all right, thanks so much for that. We got to duck out here, pay a couple of bills. When we come back, of course, we'll have, got a couple other things in local news to talk about, and then we'll do the 5 things you need to know. So stay tuned for that. And don't forget, 2 weeks from today, Shane, we are live and in person at the Grand Tree, 6 p.m. in the highlight room on the convention center in the back of the Grand Tree. So we'll see everybody then, but we'll be right back with more right after this. Welcome back, everyone. It's 6 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It's Friday, July 12th, 2019, 61 degrees outside, looking for a high of 86. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And, well, from our text line, Shane, what responsibilities do Tommy Boy and Shame bear for welcoming anti-government, civil insurrection, racist, homophobic, and extreme right-wing nationalist ideas on the program, while Tommy Boy and Shame have not explicitly endorsed, but letting extremists to spout is at the very least a tactic endorsement.
Wow, a tacit endorsement.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, all I can say to the guy that sent that is thank you.
Yeah. Well, unlike previous hosts on this show, all views are welcome here. If you're pro-LGBT or anti-LGBT, you've got a forum here. If you're pro-choice or pro-death, you've got a forum here. If you're anti-immigration, pro-immigration, you have a voice here. If you're pro-Trump or anti-Trump, you have a voice here. So that's it.
Go.
So
that's it.
I'm not going to pick and choose. The listeners are the one who pick and choose what they want to listen to and what they don't.
Exactly.
And they have a right to voice their opposition or endorsement of any views of anybody that comes on this show. So that's why we have over 1,000 downloads of our shows.
That's correct. And very often, and the reason that talk radio has done so well is that, when people call in, it's great to have an opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. We've talked about this before, but at least show some awareness or knowledge of the opinion you're expressing.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
An opinion should be based upon some knowledge. Otherwise, it's just a personal opinion. And talk radio isn't really big on personal opinions.
Yeah. No, if we had a call screener, those who disagree with you and I would go to the head of the line.
That's right. We want them.
We want them. Yeah. Yeah. I want people. Yeah. Well, we can't attract listeners, just half of the general public out there. We've got to attract all points of view here. That's what makes the station successful.
I would sincerely like to talk to a pro-life person. Sincerely, I would.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people are. Well, you can talk to me. You can talk to me.
And I'd like to sincerely talk to a pro-choice person.
Yeah. Same thing here.
Yeah. And so it's because I don't get pro-choice. I don't. I understand certain restrictions, and I think those are allowable and fair. But for the extreme that the left is going to protect that right, it's very dangerous, and I don't know why they don't see that. So I'd like someone to explain that to me. So there's an example.
Well, I'm beginning to come around to, it's my body. I think a woman should be able to smoke like a chimney. It's her body while she's pregnant. I think she should drink like a fish while she's pregnant. It's her body. She should take drugs. It's her body. Prostitute herself. It's her body.
That's right. That's what they apparently feel is their body.
Go for it. I'm all for it. Yeah. So, well, I think the misunderstanding that a lot of people have who are on the left is that for some reason, I think I can make a pretty good case for me, not necessarily for you, that that
Thank you.
I'm not here to convince you to be anything. Now obviously Shane is very right wing, and that's fine. That's Shane's opinion, and my job here is to facilitate not a debate, but a discussion, because in a debate, you're shooting down the other person's point of view. You're defeating them with either facts or whatever. In a discussion, both sides are, free to converse. And that's what we do here. I'm not going to debate you, but I will converse with you.
That's right. And the thing about it is that it's the third party listening that gets the benefit of the conversation.
Well, that's it. There's a lot of people that don't feel comfortable calling us. That's why we instituted the text line. So if you want to, put out a point of view anonymously, you're certainly more than welcome to do that. We also have the app chat line on your smartphone right next to the listen button. So you can send a text directly to us anonymously, and we're fine with that. We'll be happy to. I pretty much read most all of the texts that we get, unless they're just ridiculous or, some ignorant comment of some kind. But, as long as they contribute to the program, either way, left, right, up, down, front or back, we'll put them out on the air and let the listeners decide.
The other thing too is, you show a great amount of courtesy and patience with people that call.
Yeah, I don't call people names or hang up on them or rude to them. Yeah, no. I welcome points of view. If you've got your ducks in a row, I'll change my mind. Yeah, I will.
Only with a loaded shotgun.
Well, maybe. We'll see. Don't encourage them. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
This is Clint.
Hey, Clint, how you doing?
Well, this morning is beautiful.
Well, good. Pretty nice day, huh?
It's a beautiful, beautiful day here in Montana.
Yeah?
Bernie Sanders, I get a kick out of him.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "You're not free till you have this, or you're not free till you have that."
Yeah.
And I got to thinking about all that, and I was just discussing it with Judy this morning. I said, "Do you think we're really free?" And she says, "Well, maybe and maybe not."
Well, you're free to leave your home if you don't pay your taxes.
You're free to come and go as you please.
That's true. You are that.
As long as you got the money.
Yep.
And I'm thinking about it. And that's a dangerous thing for me to start thinking, you know.
Yeah, that's, I don't like that.
It's really dangerous, Shane. You don't like me thinking too much, do you?
No, I don't think you think too much. I think you think very curiously.
Yeah, I kind of do sometimes. And I was thinking about how free I am. And Bernie Sanders, that slogan he has is something else, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And anyway, I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking, well, the food I eat is taxed.
Mm-hmm.
The car I have is taxed. The place where I live is taxed. The air that I breathe is taxed. And the water that I drink is taxed. Now, am I free?
No, wait.
No.
The use of your toilet is taxed.
Yeah. The only thing I know in the Constitution it says the federal government shall not give up the power to tax. But I've been thinking about all this, and nobody really ever talks about this, and nobody ever stops to think about the things that are taxed, which everything that you consume, everything that you do, pretty much is all taxed. And then when you think about that, then you think about all the money that the federal government is taking in. What is it, about $14 trillion a year, Tom?
Well, not quite that much, but they take in enough that they have to borrow to make their nut for the year.
Isn't that something?
That's something, yeah. I tell you, that's
really
the bad
something.
part, yeah.
That is really something.
Well,
now,
it's all that vote buying they got to do. They got to buy those votes, and those votes are expensive, Clint.
Yeah, well, I understand. The thing is that I don't understand is why does the American people continue and not say anything about what I've just said?
Yeah.
It's not their congressman; it's everybody else's congressman.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
why do they keep electing Pelosi and Schumer and not electing somebody else?
They want something free.
Well,
basically,
there you go.
Yeah, see, Bernie Sanders has got a hell of a slogan there, but it kind of bugged the hell out of me when I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about I said to myself, I can do anything I want as long as I have the money.
There you go.
Pretty much.
All right. I said it again. I got to take a break.
Okay, there's one other thing.
Real quick.
I want my friends Pete and Mary to be sure and come to your doings.
Okay, good.
And that's the 26th.
2 weeks from tonight, 6 o'clock at the Grand Tree, Shane and I live and in person.
Tonight?
I promise to be late.
2 weeks. 2 weeks from tonight.
2 weeks from tonight. Well, I got to meet Shane.
I promise to be late.
Yeah,
you will?
Yeah.
Well, I've met your sister, and I've never met you. So.
He'll make a late entry probably.
Okay.
So. No, he's got. He has to bum a ride with me, so we'll be there.
I got to let Tom do the weather first.
Well, you're free. See, think about Bernie Sanders' slogan.
Okay, we will.
Think about that.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks for the call. All right, Shane, we got a caller waiting on the line. If you can help those folks out, we'll be right back. 20 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m., it's Friday, July 12th, 2019, and the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. We got a caller waiting patiently on the line. So, caller, thanks for waiting. And what's your name? What's going on?
Well, this is Pete.
Hey, Pete, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good.
I was just talking to Shane about this, but
yeah,
the last text that you read, apparently this person doesn't believe in free speech. And when he can't dispute the argument for free speech, he calls you names, which we talked about yesterday. They just label you.
Mm-hmm.
You're this, you're that, you're an idiot, you're whatever. And I'll tell you what, that person has not been listening to the Democrat debates. Because if you want to call somebody stupid, and there's there's 20 or what, however many out there that I think are pretty stupid. And the other thing is, and I talked to Shane about this too, the caller after me yesterday said that they're Facebook's a private corporation. Stop complaining about them. They can do whatever they want. And they can't. They can't do whatever they want. You know, they have a deal.
Well, they can't discriminate under the discrimination laws. Things like that. They do have a right, I guess, to decide whether or not a conservative or a liberal post gets seen by people.
Well, I
don't think that's moral, and I don't think it's right. But they certainly have the right to censor. I guess.
Censor for if it's within reason. They can't ban conservatives because or somebody who supports Trump, or they even tried to ban Trump. I mean, you lose when you start. You're producing the news when you do that.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, the courts decided, I believe, that AOC could not block people who disagreed with her on her Twitter account.
Exactly. And
so, that's a one-on-one situation, not a sending your opinion out to all of your, like I've got 4,900 followers on Facebook, and they don't all see what I post.
Right. Well, the 21st century media war is about to begin, and over the next 5 years, it's going to be a very harsh one. It's going to be between 21st century social media and streaming with old media. Old media is going to disappear over the next 5 years. The networks are all going to be gone. All of them. The networks are all gone. Trump talks about it. He mentions it, but the facts and numbers are there. So
we've seen Netflix 15 million per episode, something like that. I mean, that's a
136 million subscribers paying $12, $15 a month.
Yeah, and and that's movie. You can make a movie for $15 million.
That's right.
But some are even good.
Yeah, Shane and I we'd even be in that movie.
but the gross negligence here is what I'm saying is at the end of the day, you're going to have three principal media outlets to the world. You're going to have Facebook, Twitter, Google, and Fox Nation, and that's it.
And probably Instagram.
And Instagram, but that's owned by Microsoft, right?
It's owned by Google.
Google.
My thing is
and that's it. So from by the year 2025 and onwards, everybody's going to say, "Oh, the good old days about media." That's what's going to happen.
Well, I think what they need to do is just say, "Okay, you haven't followed the rules. We made a deal, and you're not following the rules of the deal, and we're going to remove your protection." They don't have to get involved. They don't have to regulate. Just remove the protection. Open them to suits, because what they're doing is wrong. Plain and simple, as far as I'm concerned. If you're not going to let everybody on, then don't let anybody on. Live up to the deal that you got. They've done the same. It ain't just the media. Look at the deal that Big Pharma got, the deal that Monsanto got. I mean, this goes on in pretty much all aspects of government. It needs to cease. As far as I'm concerned, the other thing is the United case, where money is speech. Bull. Because if money is speech, you got more say than I do, Tom.
Okay.
You're loaded. You're loaded. And I'm not loaded. I'm just half loaded because it's only 7:30.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Half loaded. You're only half in the bag. Is that?
Wait till you see us 2 weeks from tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've seen you before, Tom.
Well, that's true. That's true. You know me. Yes.
But Yeah, these companies need to live up to the deal, or the deal goes away.
Yeah.
That's all I get to say about it. They can't willy-nilly do whatever they want. I mean, if you're talking about fixing an election, they've told us that they have the power to do it. Google that.
There you are.
Okay?
All right.
So,
Said it again. Damn.
they
Can't
admit
believe
it.
it.
Anyway, that's all
man.
I got to say. I'm
Gotta
gonna
go.
get my other half.
Have a great
load.
weekend, Pete.
Yeah, you too.
See you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks. You
All
bet.
right. All right, we had another caller patiently waiting. Caller, you are on the air. Sorry for the long wait. What's going on?
How long do I go?
You've got 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
3
can do
minutes
it.
almost, yeah.
I can do it. First off, the antitrust laws are at least as strong as the anti-discrimination laws.
Mm-hmm.
If you doubt that, ask Mr. Rockefeller.
Oh, yeah.
Ask Standard Oil.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Or Bell Telephone.
Yeah, the antitrust
Second.
laws. Yeah, exactly.
I'm one of those misogynistic, right-wing, racist, hateful, anti-Semitic, homophobic, you name it, callers. I make Shane look like Lenin.
That's true. I'll go along with that one.
But I was right on the last election, and I will tell you this about Trump with the census question. He's going to gather more. He's going to scare more would-be Democratic voters by gathering the citizenship information via welfare and his executive order than he ever would have on the census question.
No, I think that was a smart thing to do. We were going to talk about that coming up, but yeah, that's I think that's a smart thing to do. The information is already there.
The purpose is to scare the would-be fraudulent Democratic voters, and he's going to do it.
Yeah, well, they should. We shouldn't have people voting that aren't supposed to vote. So,
sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. All right, we got to take a break here. We're at the bottom of the hour here, Shane. Just about a minute or so, and from our text line, Clint, once again, you're off base. Gee, Clint, I guess the government doesn't have freedom either if they have to borrow. Well, yeah, they do have to borrow. I guess so. I guess they aren't free. So we'll have to debate that when we come back if anybody wants to. So. Other things that are coming up, there's a vigil at the southern border to protest the detention centers. We got the census question that just came up, and we also need to talk about, Biden and Warren still leading the Democrats, so we'll see where that goes. So,
yeah, and we have to talk about 27,000.
Okay, we'll be back to talk about all those things right after this. 23 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Friday, July 12th, 2019. 67 degrees outside, looking for a high of 86 degrees today. Shane Matobin on the line, half man, half amazing. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Hey, I want to welcome you, or at least invite you, to the 20th anniversary celebration of Wrestler Motors. They are going to have a barbecue out there from 11 to 1. They're on Huffine Lane and Gooch Hill. And it's an appreciation barbecue to the general public and the community. Free food, and everyone is welcome. They got hot dogs and chips and desserts and cookies and pie and beverage and soda and juice and whatever. And they would just like to thank you for letting them be a part of the community. And we would also like to thank them for their sponsorship here on the Morning Soapbox and KMMS in general. And we hope that you will speed out there at Gooch Hill and fine. I'll get it in a minute. I mean, I live about a block away from them. So they will be out there from 11 to 1 today in the parking lot between the Toyota and Chevy dealerships out there. So barbecue, hot dogs, chips, desserts, cookies and pie, beverage, soda, juice, everything and go out there and say hi, and maybe look at the new vehicles out there. I might see something that strikes your fancy and take one home. Yeah. All right. Done my obligation for that. Well, let's see. There's a couple things that I want to get to with the local news. The other thing that's going on right now, we've got our poll question of the day: which is better, capitalism, socialism, or communism? And so far, capitalism is 100%. So, anyway, let's see. From what I understand, from our text line, Tom, the barbecue was yesterday. I saw it on Facebook. The email that I got says they're having one out there today. So today is today's the 12th. That's what it says in the press release here. Friday, 7/12 from 11 to 1 in the parking lot between Toyota and Chevy. So if I'm wrong, oh man. But
a lot of people, a lot of hot dogs.
That's an exact copy of our sales manager's thing. So maybe they did have it yesterday, and maybe they're going to have it again today. I don't know. So anyway, I've mentioned it. So if I'm wrong, we'll know between 11 and 1, I guess, won't we? So.
Well, unless someone calls from them and lets you know.
Well, that's true. Shane, when are you're going to be here on the 25th, 26th? You're going to be here on the 27th? When are you going back to Canada?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't decided. I might actually do the show on Monday.
Well, good, because from our text line, good morning, Tom and Shane. This is an invite to a barbecue on Sunday, the 28th of July, from 11 to 3 at the Warming Center. So maybe we could make that while we're...
That would be great.
While we're in town, we'll go over to a barbecue over there and meet some folks. And
sure.
Gosh, I wish we had T-shirts or something, So
yeah, to pay for my trip.
Yeah, but we'll be at the Warming Center selling T-shirts for Tom and Shane. Yeah, I'm sure the Warming Center will love that.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
We would love to be there, so we'll put that on our calendar while Shane's here, and maybe we'll make it over to the Warming Center and meet some folks there too.
That's right. If they want to make T-shirts with morning soapbox on it.
Yeah, right.
We'll be happy to sign them for people to buy.
Well, there you are. Yeah,
that's
true. There you are.
We'll come over there for a signing if they have a T-shirt.
Oh gosh, I'm getting up into. I've said the 3 words 5 times this morning, and it's not even 8 o'clock yet. Oh man,
what a nervous Nelly.
I have to take a break and think about this. I've got to get my habit broken. So right. I'll be right back with
Takes
Shane.
21 days. Takes 21 days,
That's right. I know. Yeah. If we're still here in 21 days.
That's right. Exactly. So why bother?
All right. We'll be right back right after this. 14 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Friday, July 12th, 2019. 68 degrees outside. And Shane and Tobin, half man, half amazing. And Tom Eagle off your morning mayor in the house, and Shane from our text line 478-8298. Another Tomism. I was going to say, jeez, I got another one I got to mark down. Let's see, from our text line 478-8298. Shane can stay until the feds show up at the door and send him back.
That's right. That's what's going to happen, I'm telling you. Yeah,
I think that's probably what's going to happen to him for sure. Yeah. Well, in news over in Livingston, Shane, a recent decision by the Livingston School District Board of Trustees to hire the district superintendent's son to fill a high-level administration position is raising the eyebrows of the teachers' union and some district employees. The trustees approved the hire of Jordan, I'm going to butcher this name, I'm sure, Viegut, Vigut, son of Livingston School District Superintendent Don Vigut, whatever, as principal and curriculum director of Washington School Early Foundation Center during its Tuesday evening meeting. So we'll see how that goes out, but I guess they've approved it, so there it is. And
it's a done deal.
Yeah. And from the New York AP, this should get the phones ringing. It's a fact. We went to the moon in 1969. The 50 years ago, after Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the moon, some people insist it never happened and was all a big hoax by the U.S. government. The notion is treated mostly as a punchline, as in a new comment for Red Bull, but public opinion polls over the years have consistently shown roughly 5 to 6% of Americans believe the moon landing was faked. And Buzz Aldrin once ran into one of these people in 2002 and punched him in the face after the man called the former astronaut a liar. All right. So, well, they claim the American flag in the photographs from the moon looks as if it's waving in the wind. That would be impossible since there's no air on the moon. And rather than let the flag drop, NASA decided to use a right-angle rod to keep it upright. So there you are. But here come the phone calls now.
All right.
Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Calling you on the air. What's going on?
Hey, good morning, you two.
Hey.
I got a question for you. Maybe you already talked about this, but this deal with Yellowstone Club where they confiscated that alcohol?
Yeah, we talked about it a couple days ago. There was 2 or 3 days of stories about that. Yeah. Yeah, they're bootleggers. They're bootleggers up there.
That's right.
In Big Sky.
Yeah, they're scufflaws. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so they did confiscate the alcohol, right? I mean, they actually took
almost 1,000 bottles. I think if we tallied it up, it was close to that, or bottles, cans, whatever. Yeah.
So here's what the inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah.
Where did that alcohol go?
Where did it go?
Yeah, that's right. Very good. I'm glad someone finally called to ask that question.
My guess, it's in a closet in the governor's house in Helena.
I think we need to have an investigation, Shane. Now, Shane, you're the investigator in this group.
That's right.
So I think what you need to do is call up the Liquor Control Board.
Mm.
Yeah, the first place I would look is in that jail cell, you have at the basement of the Capitol in Helena.
Yeah.
Well, see, I have a couple alternatives. I think it ought to be either sold at discount, by the Liquor Control Board or whoever it is. They ought to put a high discount on it and just make it open to the public. Or
they're selling it twice.
Yeah.
Or give it to the food bank.
Well, there you are. Yeah, the food bank needs it.
Yeah.
Wow, now that's a great idea. That's great.
We'll take it to the warming center with us on the 27th.
Yeah,
that's right.
We give away liquor. We give away liquor at the food bank so people will come in and have whole food.
That's right. You got to satisfy the constituency,
Yeah.
So anyway, Shane, we're looking for that bit of investigative reporting here pretty quick. We need to know.
The only investigative reporting I'm going to do is get a selfie of myself, and I'm going to make stickers. And when I find the booze, I'm putting my face on all the bottles.
Well, there you are. Yeah.
That'll increase the price.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't have to double dip coming back with another call. Let me ask you one other thing.
Sure, go for it.
Some weeks ago, I asked what happened to the money that politicians got when they raised their finances for election.
Yeah.
And I said, who actually has received money in their pocket from that? I mean, I understand the theory of it, but has any of the politicians that have run for office?
All of them.
They all?
Well, they have a couple of options. They can give the money back to the party, the RNC or the DNC. They can donate the money to charity, but I think if Shane is correct, after 2 years, it's their money.
Or here's what we need. They can return it to whoever sent it to them.
Well, they can return it to the people that donated it to them if they had a record.
So what we need to know, though, what we need to know is who actually has received that money and how much they put in their pocket.
Yeah.
We need to have actual numbers.
Go to the election. Go to your election commission website, and you'll see that.
Well, I don't know if you can find it that easily or not.
But you have that other website that you recommended that has a really good reference.
Well, the opensecrets.org keeps track of how much money comes in. I don't. They would be someone I'll have to contact them. Maybe I can email them and see if we can. Or we've had people from them on the air before when we're on Saturdays. Maybe I can get somebody on the air that might be able to shed some light on that question. So I'll try and contact them and see if.
I think we need to know this. This is important stuff.
No, I think it is important. Yeah, if they're keeping it, and they're living the good life, gee.
Well, they are. That's why there are 24 of them running for president.
Well,
they're all raising retirement money.
Yeah, well, Bullock probably is, I guess so.
Well, let me tell you, from a well-placed source in politics, Montana, I've had the same story repeated to me about why people do run for politics in Montana. Yeah. And that guy told me, he said, this is exactly why you do it. He says, because you end up with a big chunk of money. And the question I have is, who is it and how much?
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, guys, you got two things on your plate now. You got alcohol and money.
Yeah.
So, all right. Everyone answers.
Inquiring minds want to know. We got to find this.
That's right.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good day.
Hey, thanks for the call. All right. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We'll be back in 60 seconds, actually. So hang on. 5 minutes for the top of the hour. Jennifer Bordy will join us at 8 o'clock for Law Talk, and we'll be talking about Supreme Court decisions and all kinds of things like that from our text line, 478-8298. No live human has gone to the moon because you can't make it through the Van Allen radiation belt alive.
Not true.
Okay. Let's see. Whatever happened to Andy from Big Timber? Did he finally figure out that he moved to a very conservative state and moved back to Colorado or California? I don't know. We haven't heard from Andy in a while, so I don't know. I was hoping he would show up at our get together and we could answer some questions, have some discussion with Andy. So I don't know. Let's see. Give the liquor to the guys on the corners. That's what they really want. NASA needs to get a top naysayer and take them to the moon. There you go. That'd be good. Yeah. The flag would ripple if it was pushed from one side. It wasn't a sheet of steel. So I don't know what it was. So, that's neither here nor there. So
that's right.
All right. All right, we got 4 minutes left to go here. So the other things that we needed to talk about, they're having a vigil at the protest or at the detention centers on the border to protest the conditions of the kids there, and we've had a lot of discussion, I guess, about that with various people on Capitol Hill. They've had the Border Patrol and everybody that has a badge or shine shoes come in there and talk about it.
Yes, indeed.
We've seen tours of, it looks like Costco down there. They got everything.
That's right.
They got everything in there. They have a toothbrush that has a toothpaste in it that they give to people. They just to squeeze it, I guess, and it comes out, and there you are. So I don't know. It's quite an interesting situation there. The other thing, of course, the census question.
Okay, I got this one.
Go for it.
So the census asks you how many people live in your house.
Yep.
How many toilets you have.
Yep.
How many bedrooms in your house.
Yep.
Do you have a front door, back door?
Mm-hmm.
Do you work? Do you drive a car? Do you have a camper? Do you have a second home? What kind of shingles do you have on your roof?
Yeah.
Is your house insulated? How old is your home? Do you work? Who works in your house? Who lives in your house? Are you an American citizen?
No, can't have that. that won't work.
They can ask you 1,000 questions about your life, but they can't ask you if you're an American citizen. What a joke. Yeah. What a total joke.
From our text line, 478-8298. Tom, don't worry about those 3 words. At least you don't use like every other word. or use like every other word. Like, I mean, like, like it's
I like.
yeah, at least I don't have that habit. So, and let's see. I think we were all caught up here on our timeline here. So, yeah, give us a text or our app chat, certainly on your smartphone if you're on the app chat. We got a couple of app chats. We were talking about the senior passes the other day to the parks. The senior pass now is a one-time fee of $80 to get in free forever after. And ignoring the issue, head in the sand will never solve a problem. Example, World War II, we ignored the rise of Nazi and embraced them and turned our backs when they did the things they did. Chamberlain was an idiot. Churchill was right all along. So
there you go.
So, all right, we've got to go. So we'll be back with Jennifer. Law Talk. The Law Babe's in the house. We'll be back right after this. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. It's 6 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. It's Friday, July 12th, 2019, 71 degrees outside. We're looking for a high of 86 today. And since it's Friday and it's 8 o'clock, Shane Montalban and Tom Eaglehoff joined Jennifer Bordy. Law Talk, the Law Babe, is in the house. How you doing?
Actually pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a good time in Los Angeles for a change. I don't like Los Angeles.
You're kidding me. It's a wonderful,
at my brother's wedding
place.
No drama, no family drama, although
No bridezilla.
I obviously seriously miss my mother and sister. And
I bet you. Yeah, that's tough.
It was very hard, actually.
It's hard to do those things when, because you lost both of them this year.
It was the first wedding I cried at, and it was mostly because they kept mentioning my mother and sister.
Weren't there. Yeah.
But and we went to Universal Studios, Harry Potter, Wizarding World.
All right.
And that was a great time.
Yeah. Did you see all the tents on the street and everything, or did you have to walk over dog poop or people poop or whatever?
No, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
You're not sure what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I guess you haven't watched the news where there's endless tents on the streets of L.A.?
No, I missed that. I don't watch television news. Part of the problem, I guess. But anyway.
Well.
But regardless, no, it was actually a really good time.
Well, good.
A lot of nice family events. My aunt and uncle also threw themselves an 80th birthday party while we were there. So.
Yeah. Well, we have a couple of text lines here. Shane says a live human being can go through the Van Allen belt, therefore it is so. Thus saith Shane. Well, as long as Shane says it, it's right.
Thus saith Shane. I need to get a T-shirt that says that.
Yeah.
Good.
If Shane says it, it's got to be true. So that's absolutely right. Let's see. We were talking about protesters at the border.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing a visual there. What about the conditions of the baby at the abortion clinics? Okay.
Well, there's protesters there, too, quite often.
Yeah, well, that's true. Every protester that goes to the border needs to be a sponsor and take a legal or family home with them. And let's see. Regarding my repeat of various phrases, at least Tom has a vocabulary. He has a bigly tremendous vocabulary. This I can tell you. Believe me. So I do. I have a quadruple of vocabulary. See, that's a big word there. So, yeah. So, anyway.
Sure.
We are going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Epstein.
It's probably Epstein.
Stein or Steen?
It's probably Steen. Most of them are, but there are a few, like Frankenstein.
Einstein.
Yeah, there you go.
Einstein.
But it's probably Epstein. That's how it's usually pronounced.
That's right. So
yeah, and the main reason why he's of interest, everybody's favorite child molester, right? Billionaire child molester, although there apparently have been several articles that dispute his actual wealth being that much. But regardless, he definitely is a rich guy, and he definitely got a pretty screaming plea agreement, which I will say, though, I don't take as much exception to as a lot of the commentators right now. Because, well, for one thing, prosecutors have absolute discretion in whether or not to enter into a plea agreement. And there may have been some problems with the cases. It's kind of hard to imagine based on what I've read. But
well, from what I understand, there was not a lot of evidence at the time, but evidence appeared later after the plea
and that
agreement.
may be. There are lots of reasons to enter into a plea agreement. and not always, if ever. Well, never in Montana, really, just because you're rich.
Yeah, you got me a sweetheart deal, of course.
There you go. Yep. And sometimes you do. Sometimes you get amazing screaming deals, and you don't know why, but
we should do a show on that, screaming deals of history.
That's actually a pretty good idea. I like that.
Yeah,
I'll have to do a little bit of research.
Do a little research and see if you could come up with maybe some Montana things that, people got a sweetheart deal out of that should have been hung by the neck until dead.
There you go. But honestly, the fact that he has always had to register as a sex offender ever since, and would have to for life, even if he hadn't gotten in more trouble here, buddy. But I'm not as upset, I guess would be the word, about the plea agreement. Because we as the public have no idea what factors entered into it. And apparently Acosta, who was the prosecutor at the time, is saying he kind of got the word down from on high, which is not that hard to imagine.
Well, wasn't there something about it being a federal offense versus
yes.
And why would the feds not take it over, or why would...
It actually was not that uncommon in the days before drugs became a really huge issue, and now it kind of goes the other way. A lot of times state charges get converted into federal charges. And usually, apparently not in this particular case, but usually you don't want to deal with the feds versus your state, because there's a lot more jail time associated. There's no parole. Various reasons why you definitely, and I mean, drugs is a good example in Montana versus if you were in federal court. Even if you're in federal court in Montana, if you're a first time, even a felony drug offender, there is an alternative sentencing possibility that almost always the courts do take advantage of. And it works too. There are not very many people that actually repeat their offenses. So it's a good thing. But under federal law, if you have any kind of felony drug crime, or even a misdemeanor for that matter, I mean, you're not facing as much jail time, obviously, and certainly not prison for a misdemeanor. But there is the sentencing guidelines that while they're no longer mandatory, all of the judges still follow them, and you're going to go to prison even for a first-time offense. Doesn't matter what the rest of your criteria or qualifications or factors in your life circumstances are, you're going to go to prison. So there's a big difference. You generally don't want to deal with it. So now in Florida, where Jeffrey Epstein was charged like 10 or more years ago.
2008, yeah.
2008. He was actually charged in both state court with a couple of offenses and in federal court. And ultimately, as part of the plea agreement, they completely dropped all of the federal charges, and he pled to 2 state charges. So as usual, you also have the benefit, like I just discussed, of state versus federal charges. And he got a screaming deal. He was supposed to serve 18 months in jail. He served 13 months. Also, all of it was on work release. So he was allowed to go 12 hours a day to his office, supposedly. I don't know if work release, even here, actually, I know they don't monitor you if you have work release. But they're, with the technology capabilities much greater in most states.
Who knows in 2008
he
what
might
they
have
did,
had to wear like an ankle monitor or something when he was out working. But if he didn't, imagine what he was doing for those 12 hours a day. Well, probably not stay. Well, now we can imagine, because lo and behold, it doesn't seem like he even took a breath.
Yeah.
And that there's all kinds, well, not all kinds of new charges. Actually, so far, there are only 2 charges. He's been charged with sex trafficking and conspiracy to commit sex trafficking. And apparently several of his employees are in on this and either face charges or have been charged. And he was just arrested last Saturday on the new charges. But it really, in what I've read, sounds like same old, because he back then in 2008 and before that, obviously, was accused of bringing young girls as young as 14, apparently, into his home. He has a penchant, apparently, for massages and wants these young girls to massage him, and then he molests them.
Right, yeah.
So, interesting. And there's been some whiff that some other well-known people were involved back then, one being Prince Andrew. I'm trying to think of the other one right now, but...
Bill Clinton.
Well, I don't know that he's been actually considered involved in what's going on. But he was a friend of his, as was
come
Trump.
on, Jennifer. He was on the guy's plane 21 times to the island. Put a rest to it.
He hasn't been accused as much as some of the others.
Oh, of course not. Yeah, of course not.
Well, he's not going to be accused. The Clintons just aren't prosecuted. I mean,
well, you can accuse a
That's
president
not true.
once he's out of office.
He was prosecuted for perjury, which.
Well, he wasn't convicted though.
Yes, he was.
No,
he
he
pled
wasn't.
guilty.
Yes, he was.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess he was.
And contrary to popular belief, because
the impeachment, he was not convicted.
Right,
of
he was not.
yeah.
He was not convicted when he was impeached.
Yeah.
But I remember back then, everybody's like, "Oh, if he wasn't president, he wouldn't have gotten away with it." And actually, what I kept saying, and I'll say now, is he was president and he didn't get away with it. Most people lie on the witness stand all the time, and nobody ever gets charged with perjury. But Bill Clinton did, and so
I was going to say that's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty unusual.
It is pretty unusual. He actually got treated in some ways. I mean, I won't say worse than most people, but most people don't get prosecuted at all.
Yeah.
So at least he was prosecuted for it, at any rate. And he lost his license to practice law in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever tried to get it anywhere else.
Say that's Judge Roy Bean in Arkansas, isn't it?
I don't know, but I remember him. Well, I don't remember him personally, obviously.
Let's take a break because we've got to get that in here. From our text line, the best thing about the law babe is you can't tell if she's a Republican or a Democrat. She is truly fair and balanced.
I am not either. That's a great observation.
There you are. All right. We'll be right back with more right after this, so stay tuned. 20 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m., Shaman Taubman on the line with me, Tom Eagle-Off, your morning mayor, and law babe Jennifer Bordy is in the house, and we're talking about the upcoming...
The illustrious career.
the upcoming case of Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein,
yes.
Yeah, who has been accused of child trafficking and... seems to know everybody famous, and we'll see how many people are drug into this deal.
Including presidents and former presidents.
Presidents and former presidents, yeah, it could be. So, well, let me ask you this.
Well, wait. I think that Trump's made it pretty clear, and people that on both sides of the aisle have made it pretty clear that over 15 years ago, President Trump had concerns about Epstein and the way he was treating the young women in his Mar-a-Lago club. And the girls came to the president at the time, Mr. Trump, who owned Mar-a-Lago, and told him about it. And he threw the guy out, and he's never been back, nor has he ever spoken to him since. Well documented, both in press, on television, and with other people that knew of the incident that occurred.
Doesn't mean a thing. It doesn't. It doesn't mean a thing, Shane. I'm sorry.
Well, whether or not it needs to be said.
Well, it needs to be said, but let me ask you this, Jennifer. You're Epstein's attorney.
Oh God, I don't represent sex offenders.
Well, okay, but in this case, let's say he was.
I drew that line when I went to the dark side.
Okay.
After being a prosecutor.
Yeah. Would implication of other people be justification for a lesser sentence? Let's say he did say that, I have picture evidence of Trump on the plane or Clinton on the plane or, name your Al Gore.
No, not in his case, because he is seen as the
instigator,
the
person, the
big kahuna.
the main guy we need to get, and and he's already had one sweetheart deal, so we're not going to give him another one.
And I don't think you'd ever find that somebody at that level of wealth, among other things, is going to rat on other people with wealth. He might rat on his employees, because apparently several of his employees, as I said, are indicted or are going to be indicted. They've been implicated.
They've been helping recruit the girls and whatever. Because I think one of his employees recruited the girl back in 2008.
Well, actually, there were about 36. That number sticks in my head. It might have been 32 girls that were investigated and were the subject of possible charges, and there were more charges than the two he pled guilty.
Yeah.
That's a common aspect of a plea agreement for a prosecutor to agree to dismiss some charges. So it is unusual, though.
So the employees could get immunity for talking about him, possibly.
Yes, it could go the other way.
The other way.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But one of the most interesting things I think about this case is a lot of people, when they're caught, but they want to continue their bad conduct, they at least switch it up a little and they pursue new ways to commit the same thing that they were doing before. He does not appear to have done that at all. Like I said earlier, it's same old for him. And he has been luring young girls to his luxurious, huge homes and ultimately molesting them. And even more than that, he has paid them what I'm going to use some air quotes here, finder's fees. There's kind of times when you want to be on TV rather than the radio, but air quotes here, finder's fees to these young girls because they bring their friends over to be molested. And so obviously he's also selecting his victims from the usual pool. I hate to say this, but it's very common, of probably low income families. Usually they are not two-parent families, usually single mothers that are working a lot and not as much supervision.
Some extra money for the house.
And also pedophiles and child molesters have an unerring way to somehow lure and or be attracted to, if you want, those kids that are less likely to be believed if they do tell, or are not likely to tell in the first place because of either threats against their parent or a parent that is essentially absent. So there's all kinds of different factors that enter into that, but generally the pool of possible victims for child molesters and pedophiles is roughly the same.
Well, it's waiting at the bus stop for the bus from Iowa in L.A.
Yes, exactly.
It's a single girl getting off the bus in L.A. looking to be a star in the movies,
and that's, of course, where his employees probably come in, because how often is Jeffrey Epstein going to be hanging out at the bus stop waiting to see the young, single, scared-looking girls get off the bus?
Right, yeah.
So, at any rate, so he doesn't seem to have changed his pattern at all, and probably did feel he got away with it back then.
Why change it,
Yeah, but most people, no matter what amount of jail time they get, they're going to feel they didn't get away with it. And the guy has to register as a sex offender, a level 3 sex offender, too, by the way. There are different levels. Level 1 means you're not that likely to repeat your offend. Yeah, level 3 is the most serious, and you are likely to reoffend. So they recognize that, at least when he was given this plea agreement. The other strange, unusual aspect of the plea agreement, though, is one between federal and state prosecutors, because apparently it was negotiated, at least mostly, by Acosta back then when he was a federal prosecutor. But all of those charges were dismissed in exchange for pleas of guilty to 2 of the state charges. So that is an unusual aspect. And even though we talked about this because it was a U.S. Supreme Court decision just earlier this year, you can be prosecuted both state and federally for the same offenses, but you usually will find, well, at least it's been my experience here in Montana with drug offenses, where it used to be the feds never got involved. Now they will get involved, and then the state usually drops its charges. And I don't know if that's really an agreement between the state and the federal prosecutors, but on the other hand, the point from the state prosecutor's view is probably why bother, because they're going to get way more with the feds than they would in state court. So,
well, that seems to be one of the bone of contentions, that the attorneys that have been interviewed on various news outlets are saying that they've never heard of an agreement like this where the feds would just go away.
Yeah, like I said, it's usually the other way around. So I don't know about that. And I also wanted to mention he had an amazing defense team back then.
Oh, yeah.
So we've heard of almost all of them. Roy Black, who defended William Kennedy Smith. Remember when he was accused of rape in Florida and he was acquitted? Roy Black was his attorney. We all know who Alan Dershowitz is. He was on board. And he had Bill Clinton's special prosecutor, Ken Starr. So he had quite the team for, wow.
Well, Alan Dershowitz is one of the ones that it was also claimed to be on the plane from time to time.
Oh yeah.
You know? And of course, he's vehemently denied that. But
yeah. Oh, that's the other one. I'm sorry. That was actually implicated in
he was one
at
of the
least
ones,
participating with the minors. No, I mean, I didn't see it. Maybe I just haven't read broadly enough, but I didn't see actual allegations against Clinton other than he rode in the plane. I did see that.
Well, he took a bunch of plane trips, as Shane
but
alluded
Dershowitz
to.
and Prince Andrew are the two celebrities,
ones,
if you will, that are actually accused of partaking in the proffered services of young girls offering massages and offering and more. So, offering, that's a bad use.
Happy endings.
I should never have used that. All right. So the main reason I wanted to talk about Epstein, because who really wants to spend their time talking about a child molester, is because this is an opportunity to at least look and hopefully be a little bit educated about various aspects of the legal system that may be involved more than just the criminal aspect. And so obviously we'll talk about some of the other cases he's facing when we come back.
When we come back. All right. Shane Tomlin on the line with me, Tom Eagle up, your morning mayor, and Jennifer Bordy, law babe, in the house. And we'll be back with more of this spirited discussion about Jeffrey Epstein and more right after this. So stay tuned, and we'll be back. All right, 24 minutes till the top of the hour, Friday, July 12th, 2019. Shane Tomlin on the line, half man, half amazing in Vancouver, British Columbia. Tom Eagle up, your morning mayor. And the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane, and law babe Jennifer Bordy, our regular Friday guest. And we had a question from our text line. Hey, Jennifer, if you fly on Epstein's plane to the island, Virgin Islands, I guess he's talking about, that's where he lives, supposedly, when he's not in Florida and New York.
That's because a lot of his banking or business is conducted.
Stuff happens in there. So... okay, so if you fly on Epstein's plane to the island, does that mean prosecutors can't use evidence from the island because it is outside of the jurisdiction, let's say Bill Clinton or other passengers on the plane? So
no, it doesn't. And not even just because it's federal court, but you can always use evidence gathered wherever, and it may or may not even contribute to the selection of where someone is prosecuted. But yes, you can definitely use that kind of evidence.
So if you're an American citizen creating for example, gambling outside the 12-mile limit, you take a boat out and people gamble outside of the United States.
So it wouldn't matter if there was evidence of gambling outside. Okay. But when you're talking about something like molesting young girls.
Okay, so if you took your boat out 12 miles outside and you're in international waters and you're doing this. That isn't
probably going to help you along the same lines of you can be charged with a DUI even if you're already home if the police can establish that you had to get there some way and you probably drove there. Okay. So you can have some circumstantial evidence that they didn't wait till they were beyond the international borderline for being in international waters. I can't think of the exact term right now. But
now, boats are registered to certain countries.
Yes.
They fly certain flags.
Correct.
Is that the same with aircraft? If your aircraft is an American aircraft?
I don't think so. But that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that for sure. Yeah. So there might be a pilot out there who knows the answer.
Just curious.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about all of the other types of legal proceedings that Epstein has faced or that are at least associated with him. So, for example, he apparently owns the largest private residence in all of Manhattan, 21,000 square foot townhouse. And they are going to try to forfeit that because a lot of the crimes or some of the crimes, any amount, it doesn't matter how much of the crime, but if some of the crime took place in a vehicle or a residence or even a business, if he owned the physical location, then it's not just drugs that you can seek forfeiture of. You can seek a civil forfeiture. It's not a criminal proceeding, but civil forfeiture of anything that is used either to commit a crime or in which a crime was committed. And so prosecutors are apparently going to seek forfeiture of his 21,000 square foot residence because a lot of the crimes, or at least I don't know how many of the crimes took place there, but there's definite evidence that some took place there. So that's one other thing.
Yeah, they found pictures in the safe or something like that. So let's take a call because we got a caller waiting on the line. Then we got another caller coming in. So caller, thanks for waiting. You're on the air. What's going on?
Clint is a pilot.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he'll know the answer.
So it's a crime not to sign your name on a manifest. And a lot of those guys use their initials, except for Alan Dershowitz and the Secret Service.
Oh, you mean the passengers have to sign a manifest?
Yes, yes, they have to sign the manifest.
Well, a lot of people, you can't even read their signatures. So that won't do much good.
I would be one of those.
I love the ones that look like a big check mark.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Shane's got a comment, and then we're going to go to the caller. Oh.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. If a plane leaves U.S. airspace, you have to sign off under U.S. federal law.
Okay.
If you're on a private plane and you fly within U.S. airspace, you don't have to. But if you leave U.S. airspace, which they would in this case, then you would have to sign off or under penalty of federal law.
All right. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you on the air. What's going on?
Yeah, Tom and Shane, this is Paul.
Yeah.
Every nation has its own unique registry for aircraft. So
okay.
Wherever each aircraft is owned is the registry.
Well, I guess my question was when I was talking about ships being, under certain flags and aircraft, when you're on that vehicle, whether it's a boat or a plane, are you still technically in the United States?
I don't think so.
No,
okay.
You're not.
Okay.
So
that was my, my inquiry, I guess.
Got it.
Yeah. U.S. registry numbers all start with the letter N.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
If I ever get a plane.
Yeah. if it's got an XXX on it, it's an Epstein plane.
Associated with it.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call, Paul. Thanks for letting us know that. Appreciate it. All right. Take care.
So Epstein has apparently been not associated. He has been sued many times, starting before even the last criminal case in 2008. So, for example, in 2006, a lawsuit was filed against him and this is creepy, guys. He installed concealed cameras in numerous places on his property to record sexual activity with underage girls by prominent people. And he did that not just to have videos, but he did it for criminal purposes like blackmail. So I don't know. I get shivers really when I think about this guy out there.
You'll invest in my hedge fund or this video is going public.
Yeah. So
I like that. Shane and I should do that.
And then one of the things I forgot to mention, in association with the plea deal, not only did he get immunity from federal prosecution, and apparently there was a 53-page indictment against him at the time, and he only got 18 months in jail, of which he only served 13 with work release. But he did agree, and this was probably a huge factor in that. And you have to admit, this is something that very few victims actually get through the criminal justice system. He agreed not to contest civil claims filed by 40 women identified by the FBI. So he did pay the victims substantial amounts and more than just the ones he pled guilty to.
Okay.
So
we got to take a break.
Okay.
Sorry. Yep. We'll be right back with more with Jennifer and Shane and Tom right after this. Welcome back, everyone. 12 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Friday, July 12th, 2019. Jennifer Bordy in the house, Shane and Tom and on the line, and Tommy Golife, your morning mayor in the house. And we're ready to rock and roll. We're talking about Jeffrey Epstein and all of the fun stuff he's been up to over the past 10 or 12 years.
So besides criminal charges and civil forfeiture, there are also, over the years, have been numerous lawsuits. We already talked about one with the cameras. But many women, and I can't even tell you how many women have filed lawsuits against him, alleging that he's molested them. 2 were dismissed, but he has settled all the others out of court. And that's interesting. A few are probably still open. And the other interesting lawsuit where he's not exactly a party, but in 2014, so mind you, 6 years after this plea agreement, a federal civil suit was filed in Florida against the United States, claiming that the U.S. violated the Crime Victims' Rights Act when it entered into this plea agreement, and it is seeking to vacate that plea agreement. I personally don't think that lawsuit would have much hope of success, especially so long after the plea agreement, and now there's new charges. That was filed before the new charges. But I've got to do this, sorry. Sorry. But the judge has granted some of their pretrial motions, such as the federal indictment at that time, the 53-page indictment, was sealed. He has ordered it unsealed and other confidential papers be released. So they're winning some steps here, but I just don't. And again, it's not against Epstein himself, but against the U.S. for entering into that plea agreement. So it'll be kind of interesting, and it's still pending, even though it was filed 5 years ago now. So we shall see. In fact, a lot of this action I was talking about, where the judge unsealed the records, just happened earlier this year.
All right. Let's take a quick phone call now. I got to take another break. Caller, you are on the air with Jennifer Bordy. What's up?
Good morning, folks. This is Jerry.
Yeah.
The most disgusting thing I find about all this Epstein is after his initial slap on the wrist and he was released from prison, just check out and see who was at his release from prison celebration party.
Well, tell us who was.
Well, I don't know if you no. You should check it out. These are very prominent names in media, like Katie Couric, Stephanopoulos, people like that who associate with these folks simply because he donates to their to the Democrat Party.
Actually, he's also donated to the Republicans. Not as much, but he has donated to Republicans as well.
Well, how many of them were at his hold hands? And then the media, of course, in their way of parroting news, associates Epstein and Trump. I don't know if you heard it. Constantly, all the networks, the same words were used: Epstein and Trump, Trump and Epstein. Epstein and Trump,
I think they
Trump
always
and
throw
Epstein.
Clinton in there too at the same time.
Yeah, well, the thing is they bring Trump as the problem and the labor secretary as the problem, rather than the perpetrator of this and the people who actually really associate with him. They'll bury that, and that's the problem.
There you go. Hey, thanks for the call. All right. I said, there you go again. I can't believe it. All right, we got to do the Rush update. Here's Rush. We're back. It is 3.5 minutes before the top of the hour. Jennifer Bordy's in the house, and we've. If you had the AM 1450 KMMS app, you would have got an alert that Alex Acosta resigned from the cabinet and over the Epstein plea deal. So you would have gotten an alert to that if you were a subscriber to the AM 1450 KMMS app, which is free, by the way. Thank you very much.
And the dinner was on December 2nd, 2010, after he got out of jail. He was hosting a party in his New York townhouse for Prince Andrew. Also in attendance was Katie Couric, George Stephanopoulos, Chelsea Handler, and Woody Allen.
Woody Allen.
Right. Was
Like a trans flag,
was Sun Moon there too? Or? There you go.
Yeah.
From our text line, there you go. I know. I said it again. That's 6 times this morning, so I'm getting better.
All right. Well, I just wanted to say one more thing about the lawsuit against the U.S. involving a claim that the Crime Victims' Rights Act was violated by this plea agreement. I forgot to say that one of the other things the judge ruled on in February of this year was that it was violated. But we don't know what the remedy is going to be yet. I do not think it could possibly be setting aside the plea agreement. Plus, what would be the point now? The guy's facing new charges. Nobody in the Southern District of New York, come on, let's face it, if you're going to be prosecuted anywhere, that's where you do not want to be prosecuted. They're pretty tough there. And that is where he is now. And he is he's not going to get that great a plea agreement again. So I would say that as long as the case is strong, this guy is going to prison this time.
Okay. All right. Well, he's having a hard time.
Yeah.
or will have.
Despite your money, it doesn't always get you out of everything. But I could be wrong. I guess this is a wait and see. We're right at the very beginning, so we will have to see what shakes out. But I think it looks a little bit grim for this guy.
Say goodbye, Shane. Oh, here you can.
Already lost him.
Well, we don't need the phone. You say goodbye, Shane. Well, I guess he didn't want to say goodbye. So okay. Well, all right. We are. We gotta go here. So, thanks, Jennifer. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, not a pleasant topic, but in light of the fact that it's an opportunity to educate a little bit about those various aspects of the justice system, whether it be criminal or civil, in association with a particular case, OJ notwithstanding.
Okay. Always a pleasure, and we'll see you in 2 weeks from tonight. An Eating with Tom and Shane live at the Grand Tree. So if you want to meet Jennifer, she'll be there. So. By all means, and if you're in legal trouble, Jennifer is available. She'll be happy to help you out. So you can take her into one of the other meeting rooms, and she'll take care of you. All right, that does it for us. We'll see everybody bright and early Monday at 6 a.m.